Well, welcome to episode one of FPL Top Dogs 2022-23 season. And we have to begin it somewhere. And tonight's the night, the 11th of July, where the game has been live for quite a while now in the last week, 10 days. And we've been all over the shop with transfers and updates and trying to figure out what to do and how to begin this season. So welcome, first of all, to FPL Top Dogs. This is our third season. And basically, I'm here live in London, but representing the FPL Top Dogs Football League, based around the Ballyhaunis area in County Mayo. And this group and this channel was created because I just noticed that there was such a standard and caliber of player in the Ballyhaunis area, along with, Ballinlough and Ballandine and Milltown, Ottermore, Knock out to a little triangle, Ballinlough, everywhere. You have loads of active players and lots of us finished in the top 100k this year. Very, very pleased with how I ended things. Last year, seemed to just be destined between 350k to 250k, and the last game week 35 was the big one for me, and just managed 86k. That was just phenomenal. I won my first FPL, not the FPL, but this is the Sun Dream Team at work, at the work competition. So that was the Sun Dream Team. First time won the league at work. And this is what the trophies this year look like for the Christy Nicholson. Something like that. Joy Nealon, congratulations, winner of the Christy Nicholson this year for the two in a row. But the Wega man gets second. And more to come later in regard to. We all know what happened last year, and we're going to start the season afresh. And this is all about what do you do your first draft pick, give you some ideas. I'm not asking anybody to follow my team 100%, but or just to get opinions. That's all I'm here for. And I just hope that you like my opinions and you'll stick with me for the new season ahead. Nico Williams is signed for Nottingham Forest, so that's the story there. I better share the whole screen here now, and I'll be able to show the whole thing. There you go. Say no to racism. Yeah, FPL new signings. Yeah, this Nico Williams is signed. He's a 4 million starter. We expect that he'll walk straight into the Nottingham Forest. It all depends on this Jed dude. He might move on to Spurs. Spurs are looking to sign the player there that's leaving. So like he should get games, Nico Williams. So I'll be showing the evolution of where I have been, where my mind's been in regard to my team this year, and just some tips basically when you're starting off. A lot of people, it might be their first year. Lots of people who are into this, they get lost in they get really influenced by the influencers, and it's I don't know, it's just like it's not really playing the game right, in my opinion. Yeah, you can do it that way and just copy an influencer's team and go that way, and you can win all your mini leagues, and that's what a lot of people are doing. But I never was about copying. I do it my way. The game is more fun doing it this way. And it's nearly easy to spot those who are just hanging on to influencers' words. I watch FPL Scout and Andy from Let's Talk, and loads of the community, the FPL influencers community. Of course I do, but it's just for sheer entertainment. That's what it is. So yeah, always mold your team, your first draft that suits your personality. That's where I'm always on about the vision of the game. And as I said about the influencer, don't be guided by them, because you'll end up getting lost, going wrong, and you don't really know where you're going. And then you're just kind of waiting for what, these guys are going to say about, say next. And you kind of lose vision. And I think that's the biggest thing about this game. It's best to define what your instincts are. Are you an attacking manager? Are you safety first? Do you like to have a versatile squad? For me, I'm more of a versatility manager. I like to have a bit of versatility in midfield options. I'm not massively defensive minded. I like to have one really attacking dude, one or two if I can. And it's a, you know, some people are kind of sneaky managers. They hold a lot of money in reserve into their bank going forward, so that when they find out what players are hitting the ground running, and you'd be surprised who's in form and who's not in form, then they go quickly in rather than using that wild card early. I would be one that would be using the wild card always early. I'd have it done within probably game week 5, 6. This year I think it was game week 6, but this year I just don't. I want to get away from that sort of psychology. But when you have to play the wild card, that a massive game week, someone's got the run on you, and that's what's about FPL. Who are you willing to allow to get the run on you? What I mean by get the run on you is, you could have them in your team, but you're letting them go because you want this other guy in or fit some other people in, and there's always 2 or 3, maybe 6 that you will have to let go and watch. Will Bamford at 7.5 million, will he be injury free, and will he start racking in the goals? And he will be taking penalties. And at the moment, Rafinha hasn't left Leeds. That Chelsea move because of Raheem Sterling now is over there. He's signed up. I don't think Chelsea will go for Rafinha now, possibly. So is he in a bit of no man's land? Rafinha is very, very interesting. This year, the midfield options is just phenomenal. The 8 million midfielders is just seriously, it's like the 6.5 million strikers option last year. No, midfielders last year, 6.5 for Bowen was 6.5 last year. Loads of great price. Rafinha 6.5. So this year it's all about those 8 million midfielders. Bowen's up to 8.5 now. Rafinha's up to 7 million from 6.5, which is well deserved. I think he's still very, very good value. And I have been looking at him, but I want to just see how he reacts to Leeds pre-season. And that's what it's all about now, guys, is once you've got your first draft in, it's all about looking to pre-season and seeing who plays and who's in form. And then the Community Shield, which is the first game before the league starts on the 5th, I think. Friday the 5th, Arsenal are away to Palace. They got totally hockeyed last year, Arsenal. It's hard to imagine they will. I think they lost 4-1 or something like that last year, 4-0 to Palace. Late last year now, that was the game before they went on a good run and nearly got into that 4th spot. So I just have a feeling that Arsenal are going to do really well this season. There's not much improvement really in that Arsenal team to get that 4th, but and now Spurs have, with the signings they've had, Carlson's interesting, Bissouma's interesting, and Perisic is interesting. Spurs have had such a terrible start from last season with Harry Kane refusing to come over for ages and getting any training, and with this COVID sort of bit of problems at the beginning. Didn't turn out to be too bad, but we had the extra free hits last year, which I'll get into the psychology of that for this year. But yeah, I think Spurs are not going to go backwards. So will he bridge that gap to top Spurs? He's going to have to fire some goals in. But yeah, I think Arsenal will be better. But I also think, Spurs, Man City, and Liverpool will be that touch better. And there is a worry about Man United, although Ronaldo looks like he's going to stay. So what else is there? Yeah, are you an attacking minded manager, safety cautious? So you got to define what sort of manager. For me, my character is I'm attacking minded dude. I was a centre forward once when I could run. Not very good in the air, but I had a nice right foot. So I was particularly good at these volleys, in my heyday. But that's the sort of thing I can't help it, and I need to be excited by the team I have. And looking at the influencers, we'll have a look at their teams, okay, later on this video. But I'm not excited. I think it's boring. I know they'll probably, these guys, they've got top 5K, top 10K, top 50K. I'm a top 86er. I've, I've got a good record, going back to 2012. I've finished some good, I have to start thinking to myself that I know what I'm talking about here. And this, especially coming back from such a poor season, the season before, 235k, that was an annus horribilis, and not even top 200, like, it's shocking for me. So really came back with a vengeance. Although I feel that's where I could have ended up this year if I didn't get that run after game week 35, and then, playing that, the bench boost and getting over 150, whatever it was. That really, those game week 35 and 36 really was the, and I had a very good 38 with about 87 points. So great finish. So I feel a bit lucky. I got the highest rank I got all season in the last game week. So if that went on a few more game weeks, who knows? Joey Commando Neenan is the champ. He's got 2 years ago finished 73rd or something like that in the world out of 9 odd million people. This year he's top 50k, and that was enough to win him the league this year. The Christy Nicholson pub, which is part of the Top Dogs family, along with the King of the Travellers and the Kirk Clapp Memorial Cup. So yeah, that's important, because you get lost, when you start having too many influencers and they start talking about Mount and this, that you start to try and fit what their ideas are into your team, and it just gets lost. And I've been on about this. So yeah, loads of people in the bank, and they kind of pounce on the informed player. So some managers are sneaky like that, and there's loads of ways to play this game. Don't go against your nature. Never go against your nature. Stick to being you, and a team is molded on its manager and character. And I think this FPL is a lot like that as well, in real life. Yeah, what else have I got here? I was taking down notes today. My tips for the draft. Well, I always like to have 0.5 million in reserve, and I haven't got that at the moment in my first draft, but I'm very, very well aware that it's important, because I'll talk about later, because I got a few £8 million players in my team, and I want that 0.5 just in case I want to get Bowen or somebody else after game week 1, when West Ham plays City at home. West Ham, yeah, it plays City at home. And so that's interesting. I'm going to be watching Bowen, and I'll be jumping on Bowen ASAP. I think he's phenomenal value still, over 200 points this year. Guy, I think he should have been player of the season. I'm a Spurs fan, and that, okay, I'm edging towards Newcastle now, as you can see with my team later on. My team name. I'm a bit of a Newkie now. I'm turning a little bit Newkie after last season. But yeah, that's my little sneaky. I like to do a sneaky thing. I like to be versatile manager. I like to be attacking, and I like to be a bit sneaky, so that at least that 0.5 million extra in the bank would actually probably, after game week 1, you'll have 2 transfers. Maybe you'll have only 1 transfer after game week. So game week 2, you'll have only 1, I think. Wait till game week 3. But even so, that 0.5 and 2 transfers, you can really try and save yourself from doing that early wild card. And that's what I want to try and do this season. But I will play it if I have to. But that's my policy, is trying to stuff. So never have too much money on the bench. That's a no. Lots of there'll be five or six Premier League games free from any cup or international or European Champions League, Europa stuff, until all that kicks up again. So we'll have plenty of time. I think most of the guys will be first teamers, and that's another thing as well. Try and pick guys that like Sons, your Kanes, De Bruyne's, Salah's, of course. You're trying to pick guys that are regular starters. That's the biggest thing. I hate taking punts on guys. I can take. I have hunches. My hunch last year after Salah and the African Nations Cup, he went away. I had Salah up until he left for the African Nations Cup, and I had him for the last game, and he got that goal, and I was really happy. Loads of people got off him, and I took a massive price loss. I lost a lot. Lost about 0.2 million on Salah just because I kept him till the end. I think it was game week 23 or whatever it was, when he went away. Probably game week something like whatever that was in January. and I never got him back. And that was a great move because I was able to keep Son and a few others, and Madison, and yeah, that's a hunch that went right, and all the way till the end. The Salah owners were just they had no choice but to stick on the Salah train, because you imagine you have him, he's blanked something like about 5 or 6 games in a row. You're not getting much out of your captain, and you're worried that, oh, what happens if he gets the hat trick the next game? And you're in that sort of circle. So just be aware of being trapped into players, and really and truly, sometimes a hunch combined with a chance, and sometimes these punts, they go right. And I think that's what got me over the line, because Salah did basically nothing apart from scoring them 2 against Man United late on, after game week 30 or whatever it was, whenever it was. If he took them goals away, it's very slim pickings the back end of last season. And I will be very interested to see if he will forget about last season and start putting his chances away. I know I'm very hard on Salah. He's the best player. He's most points, the whole lot. Brilliant, delighted. But he is Mo Salah, and I wanted more consistency from him after the African Nations Cup, and also Mane beating them in the African Nations Cup final and penalties, then losing in the World Cup qualifiers. It was just a downer upon a downer. So I just bought into that downer for Salah, and it paid off. And TAA wasn't a great shake at the end of last season either. Mantip was the man last season for what absolutely. It's Chemicast done better, and there's loads of people kind of say Robinson was the dude on the left that really outshone TA. So let's try and not be typecast ourselves into or pigeonholed into anybody. I look, it's down basically who you feel you can let go, and if they go ballistic, then how would you feel about that? So that's what I do when I do my first draft. I'm picking a first draft that I want the guys in my team, I would really feel terrible and destroyed and absolutely up the wall if I hadn't these guys and they pumped. So that's just basically it. And I have a team that's flexible, which we'll see there. Right. Influencers, yeah. So at the moment, yeah, let's have a look at let's have a look at the evolution to the B. We'll go to B. But this is my first thinking. Meslier with Pickford the 2. I can't believe he's 4.5. Lyle Taylor played for AFC Wimbledon. I have a bit of connection now with Far. I like the guy. I have a hunch, and a 4 point from the Irish team, defensive midfielder, won't do you much. But and Phillips is an interesting guy. He could be getting a run. No, not the worst bench. There's not very little money in that, enough. Looking at that team, that's why I have Toon Army. So I do fancy the Newcastle with their run of fixtures. Target is meant good, but he won't score you them free kicks off the bench. Absolutely second, and he somehow got on. James is a no-brainer this season. I just not. I like Bruno Guimaraes. I think he won. So we'll see how the evolution of Newcastle. Penalties. Son, Madison. Yeah, it's not a bad. I feel like I could settle on that one. Oh, excuse my bad manners. Being uncouth there. It's very, very hot over here in London, 31 degrees. I have to admit now the influencers put me onto Raya for Brentford, and this is the number 2. So just in case Raya doesn't play, this guy will come in. Love Veltman, he's still there. Chalobah is interesting. He will come on, do bits and pieces. James, of course, TA's in there. Trippier, Arthur, Lyle Taylor, Kane, and Haaland. Now this is where Haaland comes in. I think Haaland, wow, the potential, like he's over 64% owned. So his effective ownership, if you don't have him, will be sky high. If it's like something like 200%, that means that you're losing 2 points against everybody or something like that. I explained it last season, but I'm not a stats guy. I never will be. I'm more of a hunch and chancy guy when it comes to FPL. And when I get a bulletin for a player, or when I have this vision or idea going ahead, I can be very decisive, and it pays off a lot of the time, especially the back end of the season, where people start to clam up a bit and try to protect their positions and their minis. That's where I go into a different level. I hate that sort of. I'd rather take a chance against the masses. So there's Rashford's in there now. He's 6.5. Like, now, he's a chance. A punt, I suppose, is a real proper punt. But there's a few others. You can take a punt or a chance in this season. I have something here now. I suppose Bamford is something, but you could take a punt on. And I even think Perisic, okay, the Spurs guy under Juventus, he was played haphazardly with Conte for a while, but he'll be playing, I presume, more down the right wing for Tottenham, somewhere in midfield, maybe the attacking right winger, right back. Perisic, I think, could be a chance. It could be a bit of a chancy player. I'm not sure. I'd rather watch for the time being. I think 5.5 is a lot, but if he's starting in that midfield, yes, he could be a bargain, and you could be getting them. I don't know. I don't really know much about the guy, and I like in horse racing. If I don't know much about the horse and it's touted as the favourite, I never back it. I like to have a bit of form and some sort of history connected to the horse. I tend to kind of rule out them horses I don't know that are like the favorites, and I go with something that I know. And that's so. It's listen, Perisic is in all the influencers team, so we'll be talking later on. But Neto is another one at 5.5. Yeah, people are saying this is why I'm about stats. It's expected goals or whatever it is. I don't know. He was injured for a lot of the season, so I think that's a bit of a a chancy player in a way, a punt basically. Neto, yes, he'll facilitate. He's facilitating a lot of people's teams, but it's not. It's a bit boring, I have to admit. Like Neto, I normally prefer Neves. Some of them goals Neves scores from long range. He's an interesting Neves or Moutinho or Podence. Why isn't people not talking about Podence? I think he was playing as a out and out striker last season, and was he a midfielder? I think he was a midfielder. So Podence, of the team, Cody and Podence for me, and maybe Semedo or Altnori. Some people have gone for Altnori. Sa is great for the bonus points, so keep an eye on him. I think he's 5 mil. So I wouldn't put you off much of Wolves, but for me, they're a boring team that keep the game tight. They never score more than 2 goals, and Jimenez has never been the same, and he's even gone backwards from where he used to get that odd goal or 2 assists. He barely gets an assist anymore. So I think basically Wolves are a team to avoid, even though that they've got one of them. This is only my opinion. You might I just don't fancy this Neto thing. I could be screwed, but we'll see where he goes. His first game could get in that goal, could get that start. Good luck to him. He's coming back from injury, so he deserves all the best. And good luck to Pablo Neto. But in my team here, this is again Chansey, Martinelli, Rashford. I was looking at it, trying to fit in, and then I was looking, how am I going to get Son into that team? And I just still again wasn't happy. Like, you got the 3 premiums in here as well. Fair enough. And Martinelli, Rashford, punt. I suppose Gamar's is a little bit more of a punt. So I like taking a punt on 1 or 2 players, but 3 in this case. Chalobah as well. He won't start every game. I don't think Trippier is too much of a punt though. These 3 are really, really top. Veltman's great off the bench, but again, something didn't quite sit right in that team. So this is the next team. Again, I like the Raya thing. Kept Balacom. So yeah, this team is getting a little bit more to work. But I took out Salah because it was just you go through a phase where you don't go with Salah, and this was my idea. Nico Williams in there, Skippy, Lantern on the bench. So not a bad bench. They'll all come off the bench and do some. Rafinha, if he was going to Chelsea, that's why I went away from this team in the end, because I'm not sure what's happened to Rafinha. But Kane and Haaland for me are the must of the season. Both are something up about 60%, or maybe, but we'll check later on. But yeah, Madison and Bowen. I like Bowen, but against City, is it really practical to be betting on West Ham against City in the start. Man City have a massive record against West Ham in the opening day. To see a few years ago, the massive score in the opening game of the season for City over in the City of London Stadium. So they have a habit of always playing Man City in the first game of the beginning of every new season. But yeah, again, I was watching some of the influencers, and I think I'm going to settle on this team now. This is basically where I am now in regard to. This is my first draft. Gabriel, again, some great points from last year, 167 odd. Arsenal have a great fixture coming up. I got the 2.8 million players. That's why I want the 0.5 in the bank. Goes wrong. I'm sticking with Bruno Guimaraes and Trippier. I'm a big fan of Trippier. I loved what he did for me last season. I won't forget the points and goals he scored for me until he got the injuries. And it has a reward. He goes back into my team. Now, Castagna excites me more than Veltman, but I might stick with Veltman again. I don't know. As you can see, I can't get I've got Nico in there for 4.5 million, so I've only got one slot there for 4.5, but I could go for another 4 million and upgrade the goalkeeper to Ellison to get Man City clean sheet points, or Liverpool Edison. So I'm thinking about just go for the 5.5 because the goalkeepers are really priced amazing this year. To get 5.5, you can't go wrong with some of these prices, like and I think Edison, Allison, they're both 5.5. Come on. That's a reduction from Edison. So although he doesn't get any save points or many bonus points, Edison, well, I'm considering it. So that's where I am with this team at the moment. I've had to get Salah back in. I got no TA, fair enough. There has to be sacrifice in this thing, and I think that's who I'm going to let go this year. TAA could be a big, big mistake. I'm still figuring out. So probably Ellison will probably be the guy. I might just see that. I like that team. I like the balance of that team. Trippier's got goals. James got goals. Gabriel from corners, a big strong dude. Castagne's interesting down the. I think he plays down the right. Saka, Guimaraes, interesting. Saka's just gold, FPL gold. Salah, Madison is the dude I think deserves to get the start of my team this year from last year. Kane, not happy I have no Son, really not happy. But how do I swing it? I need a bit of versatility, and I think a 4-4-2 for me is the only way I can go. I was trying to look for a 2 in midfield, a 3-2-5, so you can get the 5, but there's just too many amazing million midfielders. There's so many of them that you really might as well not go for any of them because they're all going to do well. So it's really a lottery which 8 million dude you get on, and you just buy your ticket for the raffle and see where you are. So that's why I want the 0.5 million in the bank to upgrade one of these if I have to. Haaland, I don't want to be off that train. I don't want to be off the Kane train either. I still might captain Kane. I don't know, but everyone seems to be going for Salah, and I hate being pigeonholed into the Salah trap again. It's not a bad trap, but for me, if I did stick with Salah at the end of last season, I probably would have finished outside the top 100, definitely. But I think going against Salah at the end of that was the winner for me. That was brave call. A few people did it, and the FPL top dogs last season, so credit to them. And I don't like doing what the masses dictate. So Skippy, Nico, and Taylor, Lyle Taylor on the bench. So happy enough for that. I'm very, very close to that being nailed. And all I'll be doing from now on is keeping an eye on these dudes on the the preseason, and how they're doing. If Son's banging in goals for fun, I have to start thinking again. And Leicester were interesting last season with Vardy, Harvey Barnes, and Madison. My God, and Tielemans as well. Tielemans is looking to an Arsenal move as well. So Arsenal are definitely going all out this season. So I suppose you could, get rid of Saka and Madison. You get your Son in there, and you've got a 6 million decision in there what to do. Maybe a 4.5 and upgrade Cassania to a 6 million to like Laporte. So I could put Laporte in there, Sonny in there. So it'll be a 2-3-5. So that would mean Nico will probably have to play, which is away from where I am for the beginning of the season. We'll see. And again, it'll be another maybe a 0-0 penalty thing again, like press FPL guys. Okay, and we had a look at his, and he's had something like about 4 top 10k finishes, phenomenal. And he's gone for Ederson there, cancel Haaland, Salah captain, TAA Robinson, very attacking 5. So he's got Robinson, Chilwell, TAA. Listen, this seems to be a bit of a template. FPLers, the 5-3-2 or the 5-4-1 are definitely in vogue. Not one Haaland. I think this year can definitely have 2. He's got Jesus in there, Haaland, Pablo Neto, the famous Neto, Salah, and Martinelli in there. Yeah, Martinelli is going to be interesting now. Smith Rowe competing, and there is going to be a good bit of competition at midfield. So with Jesus in there now, that position in the front row is not Martinez, and you have to come out the left. Saka will be out the right. So there'll be a lot of competition now on the Arsenal team. So I'm not sure about minutes, but Martinelli is very interesting, and he's a great price, 6 mil. Not a lot on the bench. I think it's Greenwood. Maybe is that Andrews there and this West Ham guy. Like that. Chubugga Wugga, Welsh band, Chuwumba from West Ham. Peeing the night away, Chumbawamba. This is this dude from West Ham. So that's the way he's thinking, and I can't, like, who am I to be contradicting a dude like Press? But I don't like it. I just 5 at the back. I'm not having it. But I just think in midfield is pretty light, and loads of people have Salah. If Neto doesn't do it, then my Saka and Madison, they could just run right. And I've got Haaland and Kane and Jesus. Well, his penalty record, he's missed more in his career for City than he scored. He's missed 7 and he's scored 5. So I'm still not sure about the penalty situation at Arsenal. So look, I think basic, template, template. Okay, no Reece James. I've got Reece James in my thing. That could be interesting. But don't get me wrong. I think Chilwell still got to come back. The Luke Shaw thing destroyed him in the cup of the Euros, granted. But now Shaw's worth is no better than a bag of fish and chips at the minute. And Chilwell now it's he can stake that claim and really go helter skelter. And it's if you can get back to a fraction of his form from the year before, it's just wow, brilliant player. But Chelsea, they've got no Rudiger, no Christensen, 1 or 2 others in defense. So there could be a change of formation, and that Chelsea could be forward back. Let's see. But yeah, Chelsea will be interesting, one to watch. But I won't be going all in. Instead of Son, for me, I could go for Sterling, who's 10 million as well. So I like my team because it gives me options. It just gives me options. If I can find 0.5 mil, so I can keep in reserve for Bowen, and I can 2 transfers will get me a Son or a Sterling if they fire. But the catch is you need to have that 0.5 just in case his price rises. So there is a science to it, but for me, I'm not about statistics, expected goals. It's all hearsay, expected assists, big chances in the box. Oh, it's sickening. I laugh at these guys. They're just way over the top. Seriously, I just rock up for a video and I do it here and there, and I have I've got a couple of notes, and that's basically my plan for the season. And I think every season is different how you approach it. Of course it has to. Every year is different. Every season is different. Every month is different. Every week is different. Every second is different. So anyways, this is Andy from Let's Talk FPL. Great dude. Love all his content. He's based in Ireland as well. Like most of our top dogs gang, top dogs, FPL top dogs. I think he's in Galway. Somebody said he was living in Sligo, but I think he's based in Galway now. So Rhea, fair enough. He's probably got Balcom as well, just in case to cover if he goes injured. TA template, Cancelo template, James Chilwell very template, Persic template. So that's massive in defense. The 5-4-1 versus the 5-3-2. I prefer 5-2-2. I hate the fact that there's not. He is considering Haaland. I think Haaland is phenomenal value, 11.5. I'd hate to have the chance of him and 65% ownership taking me to the cleaners, especially when they've got Bournemouth, I think, in the second game. Come on. So in my team, I have a bit of both. If you can see this, I have a bit of City, I've got a bit of Liverpool, I've got a bit of Spurs, a bit of everything, rather than going all in on Liverpool and City. But it's not bad. I like Andy's better than Praz's. It's more versatile. He's got the Saka. Diaz is a great shout. I like him at 8 million. Neto again is in the team, the facilitator. And he's got his cheap fodder on the bench. Chumbawamba, I think, is one of them. Yeah, look, that's going to do okay. I think it will do better than Praz. I just like the 4 midfield, and I've got Madison and Saka again. I think my team is James. I could get slaughtered, of course, by the 4 he's got at the back, but I'd be looking. I think he's considering getting Haaland in anyway. So he can that's his first draft. So that's his number 1 draft. So he will change, and he'll probably get off Chilwell and Perisic and Diaz to fish in the Haaland. And it could end up something similar to Praz's, who's got Haaland, and you can see this would be a very, very, very similar sort of feel to both teams. And if you just get Haaland, and he could end up pretty similar. But I'm happy with my draft, getting in Haaland and Salah, and I'm really happy with that thing. I just got a hunch about Newcastle this season. That's the crack of it. Now, this guy is Az from FPL Scout. Really good guy, based in Brighton. I think he finished top 10K in the end. Excuse me, but he was like top 2K for ages. So that's the story. I do follow these guys. So President with Sonaldo, FPL Sonaldo. I think he's based in South Korea. So Rhea again, Balcom again. Look, I like that. I'm thinking about Sanchez instead of Rhea, but I'm leaving it as it is because you don't need this. Basically about the numbers. Look, it's a 4.5 million slot. It really doesn't matter which one you go at the moment. We can clarify the names. It's about fitting in a team with price at the moment. So TEA, Cancelo, James. He's mixed it up a bit. He likes his Gamaris. I do as well. Out Norrie, fair enough. And Wolves have a really good beginning to the season. They've got some middle of the table team. So in theory, so Neto is in there again. The third influencer with Neto, 5.5. But there's not many good 5.5s in this game this season. And there's nothing in virtually rubbish 4.5 midfielders this season. Total rubbish. Along with total rubbish 4.5 or even 5 million strikers. All the value seems to be set up for in defense this year. Like all 6 million defenders, Laporte, Diaz, they seem to stayed in price. And Trent staying in price 7.5. So it's I can see why the guys, but I prefer the 4-4-2. He likes Sterling, who will be playing for Chelsea this season. Tony, Brentford have a great start, some great games this season. Okay, United is one of them coming up, but after that they have a good run of fixtures. And Tony is a dude that takes penalties. He had a good season, over 130 or 40 points. But there just seem to be too many knacky players in that Brentford team, like Mbomo and a few others, Wissa and a few others that get these goals, and Tony's never involved in them, which is frustrating. But he's a very good team player, holds the ball up well. I think he was fairly a success on average last season. So very good shout there. I think he's 7 million, so he's gone up from the 6.5 I think he was last season. Haaland, fair enough. So there's no Spurs thing in it. So he's going without the Spurs thing. I think it's a massive risk. Again, in my team here, I'm looking at Richarlison. Again, I want the 0.5 million. I don't have it at the moment. I keep reiterating. But again, I can get Richarlison in for either Saka or Maddison. So this is about trading up or trading down to get a defender, is to be a bit more flexible. So I'm very, very well aware of Richarlison, who will be missing the first game of the season through suspension. But after that, he'll be ready to face Forest, Spurs again. I think they have Southampton at the beginning of the season, Spurs. So listen, it's not an easy game. Southampton and Wolves bet us last season at home. It's total disaster. I still can't believe they finished fourth after losing those two games. I was given the ghost up at that stage. So that's the preview of where we are at the moment and everything. There's not so much more I need to go on or over with you guys. It's just a few pointers to get you up. Look, it's all new season. Very happy to come second last season. FPL Top Dogs Pro. Very, very difficult player to come against. Coming second is an honor, actually. With the next season, but we don't want to give you that. Second, number one, thereabouts. The end here. Subscribe on YouTube and other FPL and other episode Top Dogs. I'm gonna have Odyssey is more interesting. That's the big thing. Top Dogs. Again, we'll give it a chance. Followers, never mind. Upload. So I'm going to give it a go and try and do a sound and need a better video. Much of a look. I don't care what I'm listening to. Opinion about. This is the YouTube Vince Wig. This is, but thank you to episode 30. Joey Neenan, first, second myself, the Guru, third Stephen Nolan, and fourth Kieran Kiley. Great season, Kieran Kiley, and I'll be home on the 18th of July for 10 days, and I'll see who is about. So FPL Top Dogs there. And there are loads of an hour and a half on the video there, the last finale. So they're FPL Top Dogs, that's the name. What's the latest here in the BBC? News and sports. I'll get rid of these later, I think. Okay, it doesn't matter. So Vegas to an army. I might change it, I don't know. But who cares about the name, really? This is what I'm on about the points. Look at the points. First season, 13, 1968. Now, if you forget about this crazy game, and I got into the top 15, 1.5K, I suppose that's the thing that really juts out there. And the team is like top 310,000, crazy, 215K, crazy bad. Broke the top 200K. That 200K for me was a massive milestone around my neck for ages after just that flash in the pan season, but it got me into it. So 1968 then up to 1999, more points. 2020, 21-15 again, and 16-17 points total keep going up and up. 22-09, 22-29 more, keeps going up. Year I won it again in 2,300 points, and up again the following season by 36, and this season a massive total of 2,515 points, top 86K. So the progression is there. But obviously this season we're not going to get that's an outlier. So you can say the outliers of my season is that Suarez season in 13-14, and this is the sort of the COVID season again in 21-22 when we got the 2 extra chips, two extra free hits. Well, I got a free hit, and do we have a triple guy with 2 free? Definitely got a free hit in the first game, first half of the season, and then another free hit. So we definitely 2 free hits. Yeah, we had 2 free hits, definitely. So do we have any more? I think we just had that free hit. Let's have a look here for sure. Doesn't, so yeah, the early history season. Yeah. Definitely got an extra free hit. Do we get an extra triple captain? But whatever it was, is basically we definitely had more reason to have more points last year. And there was a load more double game weeks, massive double game weeks, so it was one of those seasons where a few games got cancelled due to ice and COVID and loads of stuff, and then we had the Arsenal Spurs Arsenal game cancelled because look, again, COVID wasn't cited, but lack of squad strength for Arsenal, and that got loads of games got cancelled for all sorts of different reasons. So I'm happy that season's over with and we can get back to some sort of normal. I think it'd be one of the normality season. I think anything over 2,300 points is where we should be aiming at in a normal free game week. So I expect that 22-23 will be less points. It kind of has to be anyway because of that extra chip that we had last season. So that's where I'm at. Yeah, I want to be a top 100k every season minimum now, but you can't be guaranteed anything. And yeah, best of luck now. Thanks for watching. I'll give another update where I am. I'm going to leave it where I am with the team. Yeah, I think I can leave it where I am with the team. Yeah, I can sit on that now for a while and just see how the next few weeks evolve, and keep an eye on the guys in preseason. And I'm sure there'll be a few. I can't imagine me getting off Trippier. I can't imagine me getting off Guimaraes at 6 million, great value. Saka again, unless there's injury to any of these guys. Madison's coming back for injury, but had a great end to a season. Salah just seems to be like superhuman. Gabriel, that's not a risk. James, not a risk. Castagna, interesting. And you've got Kane and Haaland up here. So I am worried about Son. I'm worried about TAA and a few other, like Cancelo, of course, and stuff like that. But this fits who I am and what I am as a manager in FPL. So that's where I am at. And you won't see anyone like that on the influencers. I go with what I go with, and that's where we are. So 1.8 million players now in the system so far. So I managed to get a team 459. Yeah, so yeah, that's interesting. Depending on where you rank it, depending on when you've made your team, if you finish level on points with somebody at the end of the season and the overall, and you had the same number of transfers made as well, they go by the highest position of when you made your team. So I'm a bit disappointed in a way because I knew that the deadline was there, but I was at work and it was a Saturday and I just couldn't get around to getting a team up. So I could have done a quick pick and I could have got that down to maybe top 100k enrolled team. But there you go. That's all we have for this week. Thank you for watching, guys. Again, looking forward to all your shenanigans, and keep an eye on each other. And best of luck, FPL Top Dogs out. And that's all we have for you, Roisin, as they say. And best of luck with your team.